Okay, since I won't be having my Yupik much longer, I felt it's now time to do a walkthrough of the Yupik, how I set it up, what it comes with standard, and all that fun stuff. I'm not a fan of doing review type things unless I have a couple hundred hours into something, because honestly, you're not giving a true opinion if you don't put a couple hundred hours into an item. So I hope you guys take everything I have to say for what it's worth, and let's get the kayak down and First things first, if you plan on car topping this Yupik, we're going to start the video off with a complaint. The center of gravity is not at the handles, so it actually makes carrying this Yupik around a huge pain in the butt. And that was before I put all this stuff on. There is an excessive want for the kayak to fall backwards, and there's nowhere to grab it in the center. If you pick it up by the handles, it's gonna constantly try and fall backwards, and there's no scupper holes underneath to grab in the middle, so you gotta kind of work with the kayak in a funky way just to be able to carry it, which is unfortunate. But I'm not 100% sure if they're I'm not 100% sure if car topping was their target audience for this, so that might not be a con. It's just a con for me because I car top. But first things that come standard on the Yupik, you got this track system, goes across the whole Yupik on both sides. You can't see it, but there's one in the middle. You might be able to see it right there underneath that drift socket. Goes all the way through the middle of the kayak. That's how you actually move your seat forwards and backwards if you want the standard seat. There's no storage on this kayak. I'm not going to say that's a con, because that's not fair to say it's a con on this kayak, because that's not what the kayak's built for. If you're looking for storage, you shouldn't be buying this kayak, because it's not built for it. It's not fair to say it's a con when it's not built for that particular item, if that makes any sense. So I'm not going to call it a con. I'm just going to say it doesn't have storage. My buddy is actually going to be figuring a way out with this Yupik to address that issue and change the seat. The seat is not great. The seat, these right here hold the seat down, and every now and then if you lean back too hard, it will come undone and you might end up flat on your back or in the river. That's really the only con that I have with this kayak, is the seat. I'm not a fan of it. It's nice that it goes all the way down horizontally. You can take naps and stuff, but the poorest feature of this kayak is definitely the seat. I wish there was some way to upgrade it. It's just not a good seat. And I don't care who sponsors me or what team I'm on, I'm gonna be brutally honest with all my reviews if I do reviews in the future. This kayak I bought full price. My future kayaks, obviously, since I'm on the team, won't be, but this was a full price purchased kayak. Moving from the front to the back, underneath my bump board, you'll see wires. That's the transducer wire for my Helix 7 I got here. I have two cleats up in the front for when I'm anchoring off and I want the nose to face forward. I have a ram mount for the GoPro I'm currently holding in my hand. Here is my bump board. My bump board is the musky bumper. The musky bumper has served 1,000 other purposes other than just being a bump board. Without this musky bumper, I would have lost hundreds of dollars of worth of gear and bait through scupper holes by this point. I use it as a table. I use it as a cutting board. I use it to hide things on the platform, like my wires. If you see there's a pull noodle there, that's to keep the hinge from bending when I have fish on it or when I have gear on it, such as my anchor. There's my anchor. It's made for a 21-foot boat. I forget the poundage. I'm getting a new anchor though. Once it gets here, I will be rocking them and I will be bragging about them. That is a bolt. I do not bring my wheels back. I'm going to be carting this kayak about, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile to the river, maybe a little longer. So I I lock my tires to a tree. I replaced their handle with the new canoe handles because the new canoe handles hold onto the paddles. I'm not a fan of their handles. I guess that's another con. You just can't beat the new canoe handles. I hope that doesn't offend anyone over at Jackson. I have multiple carabiners connected to lanyards, the rubber lanyards here. They hold all sorts of gear, such as my my pliers. We got my fish grips, my cell phone case. If it wasn't for that cell phone case, I would have lost my phone in the river at least 50 times. There's my Helix 7. These rod holders, I promised myself no negativity on my channel, so I'm just going to tell you these are the rod holders I'm using. I am not a fan of them, but again, like I said, no negativity. Underneath my seat, you'll see I have 2 of the Yak Attack batteries. I really like those batteries. If I go full blast on my Hummingbird though, I will burn one out in about 6 to 8 hours, so I always bring it back up. You see I got extra string there for leader lines if I want to make them on the fly. Up here in front, I got my gloves, towels. I always bring 2 towels. I got my identifier there. I got 2 jugs I might put down today on my way down to the mouth of the Ohio. As we go back, here's my net. The net will sit up front with me. Actually, no, speaking of nets, there's my cast net. I'll have this between my legs until I use it. Once I'm done with it, I'll put it in the back. Here's my net. This net can essentially net any fish in the Ohio River that we have to offer. Easily would net a fish up to 40 pounds. Underneath that net, we have multiple headlamps. I never know how long I'm gonna be out here, and extra batteries for my heated socks. And then we have my 4 poles. And then as we move farther back, we have 4 more rod holders for more angles and more options. We have my cooler here with bait. You'll see cherry chicken and regular chicken, which is funny. I don't use it. That's backup bait, but it is funny that I have it. And then the way I set up my GoPro, you see how that's it's batteried in. That's in a waterproof bag, and I'll have that set up the same way on the front. And that's me and the Jackson Yupik. Hope you liked the review. I love this boat. If you're a card topper, this is probably the biggest boat I would advise going if you're gonna card top. Otherwise, it's great for big and small river. It's extremely versatile. Tracks really well when you paddle. And I really have had no complaints with it. I've had this boat out in conditions no one would even consider taking their I've had this kayak out in conditions no one would even consider taking their real boat out in. So that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That's my first, I guess, review. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the river.